So, are these teams contenders or are they pretenders? Let's play a little game with our former front office executive, Carthon, and we'll start with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, Pete Prisco kept putting Philadelphia #1 in his power rankings, not because of the way they were playing, but because they kept winning. Despite the fact they were outgained in every game. They got outgained again, it finally bit them, and they lost. Are they a contender or a pretender right now?
Chris, they are the reigning champions, and they still have the best record in the NFC. I know the game yesterday was what it was. We're not going to, belittle that point. But they are very much a contender for me. And because they have found so many different ways to win. And I know you and I, we've done this segment. There's that school alarm again.
Yeah, you got to pick your kids up, right? But 3:20 Eastern time every Monday. You got to pick the kids up.
Got to pick the kids up. But they are still the #1 team in the NFC, in the conference. And so they found so many different ways to win games, whether it was with the special teams or the defense. And they still have not unleashed Saquon Barkley yet this year. He had 6 carries yesterday. Think about that. For an entire game, Saquon Barkley, who is the linchpin of this offense, only had 6 carries.
Do you think they're saving him?
I think there was a plan in place, so let's find other ways to win to give him even more rest, and then they were going to unleash him at a point because, again, he had over 400 touches from the regular season play and the playoffs, and then you win the Super Bowl, you play in the February, then you have a shortened offseason. Listen, they have found multiple ways to win, hadn't been pretty, but I promise you they're going to get this thing right, so to me they are very much a contender.
They have the Giants on a short week Thursday Night Football. That game is at MetLife. Eagles still a contender. According to Carthon, they are the defending champs. Let's stay in that division and go to the Dallas Cowboys, who are showing signs of life because I don't know that anybody is playing offensively as well as the Cowboys are right now, but can they be a real contender with that defense?
I'm going to go pretender here. And the reason why I'm going pretender, I very much believe in this offense. I think Dak Prescott is playing lights out right now. And anytime I talk about Dak Prescott on air, I always say, remind me why we hate Dak Prescott. Because he gets so much. He
does get a lot of flack.
He gets a lot of flack, and I don't understand it. But for me, the reason why I am saying pretender is because of this defense. And the best way for them to win is to create shootouts, because we've seen this defense give up a crazy amount of points, a crazy amount of yards, and explosives, in which it's detriment to this team. And so right now, I'm not a firm believer in this defense, which is why I'm calling the Dallas Cowboys a pretender.
Now they've got a winnable game coming up this week in Carolina against the Panthers as they win their first road game of the season, and Dak Prescott will look to keep things going. Let's move to another team that lost for the first time this season, a stunning loss by the Buffalo Bills. 4 of their first 5 games were at home. They go 4-1. But now 7 of the next 10 are on the road coming off this defeat. They still have to be contenders, though, right?
Yes, of course. This game, they lost a close game where they didn't play their brand of football. They turned the ball over 3 times. They had 10 or 11 penalties. That's just not how they play football. And they lost to a good, well-coached football team, a team that doesn't have a crazy amount of stars, I would say, but they are a good, solid-built, well-run football team, and you can't do that. You can't turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win a football game. And so, to me, right now, is with the AFC and how they stand, and you mentioned the schedule. You have the Falcons Monday Night Football. You have you have the Panthers. Both of those games, I think, are winnable. Then you have the Chiefs. And then things start to get interesting. You have a Week 10 matchup against the Dolphins, but then you got the Bucks, you have the Texans, the Steelers. So things will get interesting there for them later on the back half of the season. But I still think the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC.
That snapped a record streak of 26 straight games where the Bills did not lose the turnover battle. You see what happens. You lose the turnover battle, you lose the game, and you lose that 14-game home field winning streak. The Patriots are now 2-0 on the road. That's the most impressive win that anybody's had all season long, going into Buffalo and winning that game. And at 3-2, it's the best 5-game start since Tom Brady was the quarterback in 2019.
How about that?
Contender or pretender for the Patriots?
I'm going contender here.
Wow.
And the reason why I'm saying contender, if you look at right now, the division leader, obviously we just talked about Buffalo. I think the AFC East is Buffalo's. But then you have 5 teams competing for those 3 wild card spots, right? With those teams being Jacksonville, Denver, New England, Kansas City, and Houston. I think there is a space in there for this New England Patriot team to make the playoffs by winning that 6th or 7th spot. And you have the schedule here. Very winnable games here. Week 6 against the Saints, then you got the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, and then you get into the Buccaneers, and then you have the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants, and then a late bye. You have a Week 14 bye that'll give you a reset and then get you ready for that final quarter of the season and then that potential playoff push. They have a very favorable schedule that would allow them to come in and compete for one of those final 3 wild card spots.
Extremely favorable schedule, and it's not just the next 3 games. It's that after that Bucks game, it's 3 more after that that are they're probably going to be favored in, or at least going to be a pick 'em. Let's go to the Chargers, and this was a team that was sitting in prime position, 3-0. They were 2 games up on the Chiefs. They had the tiebreaker and all that, and then boom, boom, a couple injuries, couple losses. Are they a contender or a pretender now?
Listen, this is where I get crushed. I'm saying pretender. And I've never bought the stock in the Los Angeles Chargers because, to me, we coined a term on our post-game show, Pete Prisco special, and he calls it chargering, right? When you think things are going well, then the bottom starts to fall out. And I don't know that they're going to be able to hold off the Chiefs once the Chiefs get healthy, right? Because they're going to start getting their weapons back, and then they have the history of knowing how to finish. And I don't know that the Chargers have that. Their coach has it, but he's not on the field executing the plays. And I love the physical ability of Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert has not won anything in this league for us to crown him the way that he's been crowned heading into this season and how he's played early. I just don't think they'll have enough to hold off some of those back-end teams who, and right now they are leading the division. Right?
Yeah.
They are leading the division, but again, we talked about Jacksonville, we talked about Denver, New England, Kansas City, Houston. Are they going to be amongst those teams to be able to finish and hold off those final 3 spots? And I don't think they are.
Who are you higher on, the Chargers or the Broncos, who are also 3-2?
I'm higher on the Broncos for a different reason because I don't think their defense gets enough credit. I think Vance Joseph has done an amazing job with this team. They lead the league in sacks overall as a team, and then Nick Bonito is the sack leader from an individual standpoint. I think they're in the in the top third in 9 statistical categories on defense. And when Bo Nix takes care of the ball, the Broncos have a nice formula to win football games. And the guy who isn't getting enough credit for this offense and keeping this offense going is their running back, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins came into Week 5 the game averaging 5.4 yards a carry and had scored 3 or 4 touchdowns so far in the season. So if they're able to ride him a little bit more, Bo Nix is able to take care of the football and lean on this defense. And by the way, this defense is playing well without one of their top guys in Dre Greenlaw. He has yet to take the field for him. So once they get him in there and his coverage ability, then this defense is going to be a problem for people down the stretch.
Well, it'll be a 3-way tie at 3-2 atop that division if the Chiefs beat the Jaguars later on tonight to finish the week on Monday Night Football. Our thanks to Rand Carthon, part of our great NFL coverage here on HQ, where we have news, highlights, scores, and breaking news 24/7. It's all right here.